Chapter 5. Far from the Northlands and Riftgard, beyond the great seas, dew glinted off leaves as warm spring day dawned over Mossflower Wood. Binkle was still asleep, curled up beneath the beech trunk, covered by last autumn's dead leaves. Regum, however, was up and about, as the mole babe's confidence had returned with the advent of daylight and sunshine. He dug up clodsfoot roots and found more whortleberries and young dandelion buds. Trundling back to the fallen tree, he wakened his little squirrel friend by tickling her nose with a stem of hedge mustard plant. "You're wakey up, great dozy chaps. Well, I finded breakfast." Binkle rubbed her eyes with grubby paws, sat up and scratched her bushy tail. "I'm thirsty." Rigum reached up and grabbed a low hanging hazel branch. Shaking it, he drenched Binkle's head with dew chortling. Her, you have a gert drink, my dearie." Binkle seized another branch and sprinkled him back. They giggled and chuckled, splashing one another with dew and rolling in dead leaves. The breakfast was not a roaring success. Binkle lost no time in telling her friend, "I still hungry. That was not a nice breakfast. Me want warm little pasties and strawberry juice. When us'n's going back to the Abbey?" Rigum laid on his back, gently tickling the winch hazel twigs, catching the water in his open mouth. "We'm losted. Don't know e way back to the Abbey. I expect they'm comin' and lookin' for us afore long. Which ways do we think a red all be, Bink?" The dubbin squirrel pointed with her tail. "West, north, east, that way, me think." They set off in a direction that she had indicated, neither of the two babes feeling very confident. It was a warm, bright day, almost summer-like, and the anxiety they were causing did not occur to the infant minds. Along the way they found other things to eat, and a small stream, where they drank their fill and had a good old paddle. Girdle Spring had discharged his heavy apron and climbed the cellar stairs for the third time that morning. Puffing and panting, the cellar hog made his way out to the orchard, where he sat down on an upturned wheelbarrow next to Melbourne. "That's the fourth time I've searched those cellars of mine. Still not a whisker of those two rogues to be seen." The Healer Recorder beat dust from her faded green habit. "I've been scouring the gatehouse since the crack of dawn, without any luck whatsoever. Where can they be?" Crinkless, the ancient shrewd gatekeeper, approached. "Move up there, Girdle. Me old paws are weary from rooting around the dormitories, and me back is broken in 10 places from crawling around under the beds. What a pair of pickles those dubbins are. Ho there, Mem Flockery. Anything new?" The fat-haired nurse dug a few warm almond scones from her apron pocket and munched on them worriedly. "Nope, 'fraid not, old lad. The rotten gooch won't jolly well let me search his kitchens anymore. Huh, cooks are like that, aren't they? Heard the abbot telling Skipper to round up his otters for a woodland search. Though I can't think for the bally life of me how those little scoundrels slipped out, what?" Abbot Appomodeus sat at the gate, calling advice to Skipper and the two stalwart young otters as they set off north up the path. "Find a stream if you can. See if there are any gasm shrews there. They may have seen our dubbins." Skipper waved his javelin in the air, acknowledging Appomodeus. "Right ye are, Father Abbot, though if the shrews had found him, they'd probably brought him back long since. This worth a try, though. Don't fret yourself, mate. We'll find Rigum and Binkle, if they're out there. Go in and keep those gates closed now." The sunny day clouded slowly. It was a late afternoon when the two little runaways decided they had even more lost than they had been. All around them there were silent vastness of mossflowers seemed to be closing in. Rigum was making plans for the oncoming darkness. "Her Bink, us'ns be ain't a-getting caught out in the open when it be's dark, bur nay, marm. We be looking out for a comfy little den and camp in there. All safe and cozy look." Binkle was forced to agree. She pointed off the sky eastward. "Look at dim clouds. Might rain by dark." Even though they were only dubbins, the tiny creatures had instinctive feelings about weather conditions. Wandering farther into the woods, Rigum held up a pudgy digging claw. "I'm thinking be's right. Bink breeze is startin' to move treetops. Us'n's best find girt cover. Her. Boy oaky, aye." As often happens with springtime weather, the change was sudden. Low breezes gathered force, scurrying through the random ranked trunks of oak, beech, alder, sycamore, elm, and other forest giants. The tree canopy began swaying, creating a forceful rustle of twig, branch, and leaf. Paul and Paul, the two little creatures, ran into the gusting winds, afraid of being outside the abbey walls, which represented safety, peace, and home. Late noontide darkened as the lowering clouds raced to cloak the previously bright day. After an all too brief spit spot of damp, the rain came sweeping in, thick, heavy, and driven by the gale. Slanting through the leafy canopy, they drenched the loamy ground. Breathless and fearful, the Dibbons took temporary refuge against the massive trunk of an ancient spreading oak. Still clutching one another's paw, they stood with their backs against the rough bark. Brigham, casting an angry glance at the skies, resentful of the tricks being played on him by the elements. Binkle, scared out of her wits by the stormy event, began to whimper. Me not like all this, oh no, not one lickle bit. Brigham pulled her around to what appeared to be the lee side of the oak. She gave a sudden squeak. Yeek! The Dubbin mole blew a sigh of frustration. War matter now. Bain't so windy on this your side. Binkle turned her face to the tree. Little door with words on it, see? It was a door, let into the oak low down. Brigham traced the word carved in with his digging claws. I wonders what e word do say, Bink? Binkle shrugged. I not know. Open the door before us gets soaked and drowned. Moss, soil, and vegetation had built up under the door. Brigham found a stout stick and levered it at it whilst Binkle shoved hard. The door scrunched against the ground as it gave way, fraction by fraction, opening inwards. Groaning, rusty hinges popped free, and the whole thing heeled crazily. This left a space through which they could both enter. Some Gowsum shrews who had been on their way to visit Redwall met up with Skipper and his two otters as they entered the fringes of mossflower. Spiky-furred little creatures with colored headbands and short kilts. They all carried rapiers with broad belts. Gowsums were known by their initials of their kind, Guerrilla Union of Shrews and Mossflower, and they were traditionally friends of the allies of Redwall Abbey. Their chieftain held the title of Loggalog. He was always the toughest, wisest of the shrews. Skipper saluted them cheerily, hugging the leader affectionately. Har har, Loggalog grew, you old stream whopper. You're just the lad we're looking for. I bring you a message from the abbot. Grew and his 20 shrews listened as the skipper told them of the two lost Dubbins. They agreed to help with the search, one of them piping up from the back. We'll find the little snips, and old Grooch the cook will reward us with double helpings for everything. Yum, yum. Loggalog Grew cast a severe eye over the speaker. I'll reward you with a pair of box steers, me laddo. We don't need no reward for helping friends. That ain't the Gowsum way. Skipper chuckled. No offense, mate. I know what you pal meant. We all get double helping if we find the Dubbins. Come on. They struck off into the trees and soon picked up the trail. Brigham and Binkle stayed in the entranceway of the hole, which from the old flight of stairs ran down into the darkness beyond. Neither felt brave enough to venture any further. They stood in the doorway, where it was sheltered from the rain. Again the mole traced the lettering on the door. He was unable to read or write. I wonder what this your place be called. Binkle stared at the lettering, blinked and yawned. Sleep was beginning to overcome her. The word on the door was written thus, Brockhall. She pretended she could read and translated. I can read words better than you, Rug. It says, hide here from de rain. Bird, you make and eat up. No, I not. Yes, you bees. Binkle was tired and not prepared to continue argument, so she changed the subject. Wonder what you down those steps. The mole babe ventured to the top step and peered down into the gloom. Something shiny. Binkle scoffed. You not see something shiny down the steps? Brigham was a mole babe born to argue. Oh, yes, I did. Binkle sat down, leaning against the wall. She closed her eyes, not wanting to get into another debate with her stubborn friend. Well, if it be nice and shiny, you go and get it for me. Brigham needed no second bidding. He was overcome with curiosity. Right then, I'll go and get it to show he speak truth. Nerving himself up, he descended the steps, hugging the side wall closely. Binkle dozed off amid visions of cavern hole and a wonderful meal of hot plum pudding with creamy almond sauce, and a beaker of strawberry cordial. She was very partial to anything with the flavor of strawberries, but she was instantly brought back to the reality by the sound of a gruff mole shriek, as Brigham came out of the gloom like a dark-furred cannonball. A shiny golden object gripped in his paw. He grabbed Binkle with his free paw and pulled her all the way out into the rain. Whoa! Come on, look, quick, Loik! Binkle dug her footpaws in, reluctant to be out in the weather. However, the look of shock and dumb terror on Righam's face, and the fearful glance he shot over his shoulder at the dark hole behind them soon decided her. Wordless, she ran headlong beside him, out into the darkness of the storm-torn woodlands. Brambles snagged their smocks. Sodden strawberry made them stumble. Rain beat in their faces. Both Dibbins fled as though a pack of wolves were after them. Over here, I think I see 'em. There they go. The strange, gruff-sounding voices sent them scurrying even faster, heart-pounding, fearfully sobbing for breath. Suddenly they were seized in a grip of iron. Their tiny footpaws left the ground as they were whirled high into the air. Har, got you, me little beauties.